All right, guys, welcome to episode number 188 of the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thanks, as always, for being here. In case you didn't know, these episodes are also on the YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/digital barbell. Is it /digital barbell? I know they just introduced that thing where we have our own handle, but I think that's what it is.
Well, they're saying that you can use like the @digital barbell, but I actually haven't experimented how you use that, like, when you're searching for something. Yeah. But anyway,
we're a little behind the times on that, but youtube.com/. So we're going to be trying to do better about slicing some of these episodes up and putting little clips on there too. So if there's one specific subject that you want to learn about, you can just check that out without watching the whole episode too. So look forward to that. We're trying to step up our video game.
I find myself watching, like, I listen to podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, I never go to the podcast app because I don't know. I like to see the people, and like, it's my go-to app.
I think,
just want entertainment.
And probably only like 5% of podcasts are even on YouTube too. Yeah. So it's a lot more work. But speaking of more work, we have a sponsor of this episode. Worked hard to get these guys.
Yeah.
We're sponsored by air fryers.
I bet we are.
Anybody who follows us on Instagram has seen that we borrowed/stole Blakely's parents' air fryer a month or so ago.
Yeah.
And I was always skeptical about getting one because we're kind of like, we don't have a lot of kitchen. We used to not have a lot of kitchen appliances because we had limited counter space, and it's just like more things to clutter your life with. So I was really resistant on getting an air fryer. I was like, it's just a convection.
Like, we don't even have a microwave, and now we have a rice cooker and an air fryer.
Yeah, and no counter space, and the toaster. We didn't used to have a toaster either. But anyway, it's been pretty cool. I mean, it's not like this perfect magical solution that I think a lot of people think it is. It is just a small oven that really doesn't require any preheating. And the way that the air circulates, it kind of cooks things differently than just sitting in the oven. Like, a lot of people don't like to eat chicken breast because they bake it in the oven. They're like, this looks like a piece of whitefish. Yeah. It looks kind of gross. So you get more of the barbecue kind of look to different things. Vegetables are really good. It's like a step below
cooking it on the grill, which, and the way we prepare meals is like, maybe like midday at lunchtime, or, we might make the chicken, and it's something you don't have to like babysit.
Yeah.
So it just works well for how we prepare food kind of on the fly.
Because we don't cook like 5 days worth of food at one time and put it in the Tupperware containers in the fridge. So it's pretty convenient. The little tray is sometimes a bit of a pain to clean depending on what you cooked in there. Yeah. But anyway, we're glad to have you on board, air fryer. I've also gotten a lot of messages.
Maybe they can work on like the look of these air fryers, because they are ugly. I mean, not that we don't keep it out on the counter when we're not using it, but man, they're ugly. We call it the laser printer. Like, it looks like an old school. It looks like it should be in the office.
Yeah. So anyway, that's not what we're talking about today.
No, we're not talking about air fryers.
I'm gonna turn my microphone up a little bit. Okay, so what the heck are we going to talk about today besides air fryers?
It's the time of year where, like, I think you can say this for any time of year. There's no time of year when we're busier.
Is this the busy time of year?
This is the busy time of year. Because, summertime people aren't busy, and like beginning of school people aren't busy, but, holidays people are busy. But, this applies for all year, really. But, people are getting busier, families are coming in, all that stuff.
Let's call it a different kind of busy.
A different kind of busy. This is all about how to shorten your workouts without sacrificing your results or your progress.
I like it.
Because you want to get in the gym and you want to get everything done, but sometimes you feel like this pressure of like, I can only be out there for, X number of minutes. Mm-hmm. So this is how to like make the most of that time in the gym.
Are you going to say that we can get 100% of our workout and get 100% of our results in 5 minutes a day, only 3 times per week? No, but we're going to give you guys some practical tips of how to like look at your workouts, make some modifications, and still make progress even during a busy time of year.
So we're going to kind of break it down into like things you can do before you work out, things you can do during your workout, and then things you can do after your workout. So,
all right, cool.
All right, let's go. So before your workout, we think it's important to know what you're going to do. Like, review your workout before you step into that space, like maybe the night before or the morning of, just so you like know what you're going to do and it's not a surprise. It will definitely shorten the time in the gym because you won't be like reading or trying to understand or figuring out in that moment.
Yeah. Say, for example, like you and I work out together, but we're not following the same program. like we go out into the gym and we realize, oh shoot, we're both supposed to bench press this day, and it's going to take so much more time to switch the weights between sets. Whereas if we
I bench press a lot more than you, so it's like embarrassing when you have to take the weight.
Right. So anyway, like just looking at stuff like that, looking for obstacles that might pop up that you haven't thought about.
You might need something, you might need a different pair of shoes, or just all of the things. It's just having an awareness of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And this kind of brings into like one of the biggest time savers is having a script to follow, having a program to follow. Just going out into the gym and at that moment trying to like create what you're going to do. Yeah. Number one, you're probably going to just end up doing the things that you like to do and not the things that are hard for you to do. And you're going to waste a lot of time figuring out what you need to be doing that day. So having a script ready to go, whether you wrote it, whether a coach wrote it, whether you downloaded it, key to getting in that gym quick.
Yeah, that's
download
so true.
Out arms, abs, and you know the rest.
Yeah.
So, and if this is a day that you are like strapped on time, thinking about like, what are your priorities during this season? Are you in a strength building season? Are you in an endurance building season? What are you working toward right now? And so then you can then look at your workout and prioritize those sections. So you don't have time to do the entire workout. You have a strength set, and then you have a conditioning set. What's your priority right now? Maybe you just hit the conditioning and you're not hitting strength because that's what you're working on right now, or maybe you just hit the strength and you don't hit the conditioning.
Yeah, and one of the things we're going to talk about is like the amount of time you spend total doing the workout. You might have to tighten things up. So thinking about what your priority is ahead of time lets you put the thing that you're most focused on towards the beginning, so that if fatigue starts building up through the workout because you're moving through things faster than you normally do, at least you put your most intense effort into the thing that you really care about the most. And then if by the end you're like more out of breath for your hanging leg raises at the end, like it's okay that you didn't get as many reps as maybe as you would have if you were fresh, because that is not your real big priority at the moment.
Yeah. And we stress this all the time, but be okay with not getting everything done. If this is not every day, you don't want to do that. But if this is a time where you're strapped for time, be okay with like getting 3/4 of that workout done, because it's better to go out there and do that much of it than just say like, I don't have time to do it all, so I'm skipping it. And we address that all the time.
I think there's two main reasons why that's so important. Number one is, like we've talked about so many times, keeping the habit alive of just getting out and doing what you can just like ends up killing these blocks of time where you're like, I didn't work out for a month. I don't even know what happened. I got out of the habit.
Yeah.
It was so hard. I was so nervous to get back to it. It eliminates that if you just keep the habit rolling. And then number two, I should have ran some numbers on this, but let's say over the course of a month, you typically work out 3 times a week for an hour a week. And during this time, you really practice that something is better than nothing. And you still do your workout, but you only do 30 minutes of it. So what's 30 times 3 is hold on, let me get my abacus out. The point is, you are going to accumulate so much more training volume by even doing 30 minutes of it for a month versus if you just threw the whole thing out for an entire month and tried to get, quote, back on track when things were #less busy.
I'm just half listening because I'm trying to pull something up for an example. That's why I couldn't.
Oh, I thought you were opening your calculator on your computer.
No.
Try to save me from being embarrassed for my math skills.
I'm pulling up an example for later.
But both of those are 100% true. Keep the habit alive and really make progress. Maybe not as much as if you had been able to do 100% of it, but way more than if you had sat on the couch and done nothing.
Yeah.
Killed it.
I got,
Well, did you find your example, or is that for later?
I did.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to kind of move into like what to do during the workout to like make your time in the gym go by quicker. Not go by quicker, but
more productive.
More productive. Yeah. So my first example is, if you are strapped on time and you see, like, say you're working on a strength set, and you see
what's an example of a strength set?
5 things listed. That's what I'm going into.
Okay, sorry.
If you see 5 things listed, you're gonna bench press. You're gonna do some chest work. You're gonna do some band work. You're gonna do some curls, and you're gonna do some triceps. And you're like, okay, this is A through E. This might take me 45 minutes. I only need 30 minutes in the gym today. What you can do is you can like look through your list of exercises and make these like 4 to 5 giant supersets where you're going to like get everything organized. You're going to hit one set of bench press, then you're going to hit one set of your band push downs, then you're going to hit one set of your curls, one set of your tries, rest, and then repeat that 4 to 5 times. So that way you're getting everything done in the list. You might have to go a little bit lighter, and that's okay, like for this one day, because you're getting the work in and you're getting some volume in, and you're not worrying about like, oh, I have to hit my reps and have to hit my same weight. Since you're mashing it all together, things might need to be lightened up a bit.
Yeah.
But in this case, if it's like, one off day, it's fine.
Yeah. And like you said, A, B, C, D, E, F. Like for those of you guys listening that aren't our clients, like when we deliver our clients programs in our app, True Coach, it categorizes things out. Like here's exercise A. So
we put them in order for our clients to like prioritize. We want you to do this first, this second, this third, this 10th, this 11th.
And sometimes like if we'll arrange them in a way where you are hitting like the same muscle group, maybe 2, 3, 4 exercises in a row on purpose. But if you're going to use this like superset mashup style, you probably want to rearrange that so you're hitting like antagonistic muscle groups back and forth. So you're, like if you're doing curls and push-ups, like, well, if those are both in your program, try to like do those back to back because you're not using the same muscles for curls that you are push-ups. First, if it was like bench press, push-up, dumbbell bench press, like you probably wouldn't want to put those all 3 in a row together, or else by the time you get to the third exercise you're going to be completely spent.
And I would only do this method if you literally have like, I can only work out 20 to 30 minutes, but I want to get something done.
It's not optimal.
It's not optimal. So don't use this method just to rush through. So if you have an hour, don't use this method.
Right.
So we're going to talk more about like if you have an hour, how to still make use of your time in the gym. But this is only for if you're very crunched on time.
And let me throw in there too, in case somebody doesn't know this, like because I think like a lot of people will come from HIIT background, HIIT classes where like that's
high
just
intensity,
this is the way that these classes are structured. Like we're going to do these 8 things as fast as possible. But really, if you're trying to progress in strength and build muscle, you need to rest enough between sets to where you are genuinely putting in a full effort into each set. So that's why like this is not an optimal way to train, to mash it all up if you do have time, but it'll work in a pinch. If you do have time, you should be resting enough between sets where like, okay, I am ready enough to actually put in a full effort. For like major lifts, that might be 3 to 5 minutes, talking about back squats, bench presses, those kinds of things. Accessory stuff, a couple minutes.
And this is why we're saying like only when you have time, only when you're very strapped on time to do it this way, because like your bench press or your deadlift or your back squat, these sets alone can take 20 to 30 minutes. Depending on what weight you're building up to and how much you're resting between sets, which is what we want you guys to be doing, is to take this time and allow yourself to like recover a little bit, not completely recover, but it'll be able to hit that next set.
I'm thinking of a client in particular who he's squatting like 275 for sets of 5 right now, and I've been there. And like if that's the first thing you're doing that day, and you do all your warm up sets to get to it, and the kind of rest that I was just talking about, that, like you said, that's 30 to 45 minutes just squatting by the time you get up to a heavy weight like that. So we have some strategies for those kinds of people too, which I think we'll get into.
So that's what we're kind of getting into next is so using supersets, which is just 2 movements done back to back if they don't interfere with each other. So for example, what was
I guess I got ahead of us in the last example, but
well, let me start over. Okay. So say you're doing some heavy deadlifts, and that is, that's going to take you like 35 minutes or so like that just to do. All right. During your rest period in your deadlifts, why don't you be like setting up your next movement? Say your next movement is dumbbell rows. So, after you've warmed up your deadlifts and you did set 1, go adjust where you're going to put the bench or whatever you're going to put your hand on for your dumbbell rows. Grab your dumbbells, maybe even do a few warm-up sets with some lighter dumbbells. Okay, during set 2, get your working weight ready. So this way, like during your deadlifts, you're prepared to go right into the rows next. And in the same vein, like don't worry about like cleaning up your entire bar, because cleaning up a 405-pound deadlift bar takes a little bit of time because you got all these weights. So why don't you do the cleanup of your deadlift during your row break? So you're doing your first set of rows, take a few plates off the bar. You still want to be able to like let yourself recover, but you can walk around and you can take a 45-pound plate off and put it back, and then and then take, another minute and then go for your next set of rows.
I did this exact same thing this weekend with deadlifts and dumbbell pullovers.
Yeah.
Like I had 3x8 deadlifts, which were really fatiguing, and I had dumbbell pullovers next. So in between sets, I needed time to recover between deadlifts. So I got my bench set up.
Yeah.
I picked out my weight for my pullovers, did a couple warm-up sets. And after I finished my last set of deadlifts, I just left the bar there. As soon as I caught my breath, I went and did my first set of dumbbell pullovers.
Right.
And while I was recovering from that, I started unloading the plates off the deadlift bar. And by the time I was finished with the pullovers, I was set up for the next exercise, and I had cleaned up my bar from doing the deadlifts. So that's a good time saver.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at least like 5, 7, maybe 10 minutes of wasted time right there.
And if you can do this within a few different exercises, you're saving yourself like 10, 15 minutes on the whole workout. Okay. So the next thing that I would suggest is to do the supersets like I was about to talk about. But you don't want to do this with your main lift. And this is really why having a coach kind of comes into handy, because they can help you set this kind of stuff up. I wouldn't want you to superset anything with your first movement of the day, which is probably, if you have a coach writing your program, your priority. So say deadlifts are your priority. Do your deadlifts, get that done, get your rest in. If setting up your rows or whatever's next is fine between sets, but don't be doing other exercises within your deadlifts.
And really that goes for any of like the heavy compound lifts, like give those the priority,
right?
Unless you're in a conditioning block. But yes, for strength and muscle building, give a legit effort on your strength move for the day. Don't try to throw like something fancy in between sets there. You need to get your heart rate down. You need to let your muscles recover, that kind of stuff.
So now we're down the list and we've done our deadlifts, and we see that we do have dumbbell rows followed by some calf raises. Those two movements won't interfere with each other. So I would superset those if you're strapped to time. So go ahead and get your dumbbell row set up and get your bar on the rack for your calf raises. Do a set of dumbbell rows, do a set of calf raises, take a rest, write your results down, take a breath, take a minute, and then go for it again.
Yeah.
Because your arms are getting that break while you're doing the calf raises and vice versa. So you won't need as much rest between sets, because you're, letting your body rest while you're doing that next movement, and you're just saving time by mashing these together. And we do this a lot for our clients. We'll be like, okay, you can mash these two together.
Yeah.
The times I wouldn't do this is if, say, you're doing like front rack, step back lunges. Those will get the heart rate beaten and you will be out of breath, and you will need that recovery to rest between sets. So I wouldn't try to go do anything between like a lunge movement.
Okay, two things came to mind where you were talking about that. This goes back to looking at your workout ahead of time.
Right.
Let's say that you're doing back squats, and then maybe like 3 exercises down, you're doing calf raises, but you see they're written as dumbbell calf raises, like where you're holding on to dumbbells. Okay, do barbell calf raises that day and leave your back squat weight on there. And in between sets, like adjust the weight on the bar to what makes sense to do for your calf raises that day.
I don't know. Sometimes your coach has a reason for you to be doing.
Check with your coach. If you don't have a coach, do whatever you want. But stuff like that, like making small compromises to the same movement pattern. Maybe you just load it a little bit differently. And then also, like, let's say you are going to do dumbbell rows and calf raises holding the dumbbells, and you're going to superset those. Like, it's okay to not use the exact weight that you might have wanted to use in the interest of saving time.
Yeah.
Let's say like it was prescribed at holding 50-pound dumbbells, but you're only rowing 40s. Like do the calf raises at 40 and push yourself close to failure, and you'll get the same stimulus. Then setting the dumbbells down, going and finding the 50s, getting set up. Small compromises like that.
Especially if you're working out in like a public gym space where equipment might be tight. Like go ahead and just do those with the 40s.
Yeah.
But this did make me think of something that I just get to mention here is, a lot of times if you do have a coach writing your workout program, they have things in mind of like why they've made an adjustment, why they want you to be working on a certain thing, why they've like alternated movements. The perfect example is calf raises. Like if we're just, a lot of times I will program dumbbell calf raises, seated calf raises, and in addition to our barbell calf raises, and I probably have looked at, I know I have looked at the week, seen what we're doing, and maybe we're doing a lot of jumping. Maybe there's a reason I don't want you to do those heavy calf raises with a barbell this week. Sometimes when I do program the seated, people are like, these are too easy, these are too light. Like, okay, it's okay.
There was a reason.
It's okay. There was a reason. I was thinking of something else that came up that I was thinking of that like a lot of people are like, well, why are we doing it like this? Shoot, I lost it. But anyway, just things like that. Like a lot of times, like, or, you know, a lot of times I'll switch it up for something that makes you use your grip. Like, because I'm also helping you work on your grip strength. So holding those dumbbells in your hand for a set of 20 to 25 dumbbell calf raises will work your grip. And so maybe we're in a time where we're working on grip strength, which is, you know, so anyway.
All the time we're working on our grip strength, it seems like.
So sometimes, you know, there's often reasons why you're alternating. So sometimes it's not the best thing to just be like, oh, I'm just going to use a barbell.
Yeah.
Because you might see like 2 days later, you're like, oh, shoot, I was doing the same thing with a barbell 2 days ago. I didn't think about what my coach had planned.
When in doubt, ask your coach.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Some other tips that you can do is, he talked about this, about like, if you can't get all of the sets in, doing like one hard set at your working weight and then doing 2 to 3 back off sets at a lighter weight. And what that will do will just allow you to have less recovery time. So we're hitting that weight that we're supposed to be doing. Maybe you're doing your tricep extensions at 100 pounds, but that is making you really have to rest several minutes between sets. So do one set at 100 pounds and then grab the like 75s and do 2 or 3 more sets at that weight. You can get more reps in and less recovery.
Yep. Same thing works for barbell stuff. If your working weight for squats is 315 this week, it's supposed to be 3x5. Work up to that heavy set of 5.
Yeah.
Make sure you're at, you know, an RPE 8, 9-ish. So you're still stimulating all the muscle fibers and you're maintaining all the strength that you made. And then back it off 15, 20% and do some volume work in that 5 to 8 rep range. So that's plenty to maintain strength. Like, you know, everything is really about trade-offs. That's something I just wrote about. And like trading off, you know, the potential to continue gaining strength constantly during a busy time is totally worth it. Like, you are going to maintain your strength if you use that strategy and all the things that we're talking about here. So many people get like nervous, especially on a vacation. Like, I'm going to lose all my strength. I'm going to lose it all. Like, I have to like do everything completely normal. No, your body doesn't work like that. Like, you didn't flip a switch and you're like, now I'm strong now. Like, and you don't lose your strength in the same way either. So chill out, use these strategies and just, you know, something is better than nothing.
This is another strategy, speaking of vacation, that I often use when we're like camping or something. We just have limited pairs of dumbbells, or if I'm rushed, is like I will accumulate a certain number of reps versus do those 3 to 4 to 5 hard sets. So if I look at so say it's at 3 hard sets up to 12 reps. 3 times 12 is 36. I will make myself just accumulate 36 reps in as few sets as I can. What this does is it makes me push a little harder. I won't just automatically stop at that 12th rep. Maybe I'll get like 18 the first set, you know, put it down, rest real quick, and then go for it and accumulate 36 reps or whatever the number is you're going for in as few sets as you can. And then often this like allows you to push harder. Like I said, push into that intensity. And this really comes into handy if you're using a lighter weight.
Maybe we were going to get into this. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but my vision isn't good enough to read your screen over there. But I think in general, like working closer to failure is a better idea when you are short on time, because you're, like I said a second ago, you're stimulating more muscle fibers when you work closer to failure. So essentially, like, you're putting in more work in less time. Like, when you think about, you are literally working more of your muscle when you're getting closer to failure. This is the reason that like super lightweights never actually do anything, because they're not bringing you anywhere close to how much you can actually do. So, and you might surprise yourself when you do this. If you use that example you just gave, like, let's say you've been typically doing like, you know, 3 sets with rest in between, and you've been getting like 8 to 12 reps, something like that. Like, if your goal is to hit like 40 reps, you might see that you were capable of a lot more, and you probably got more out of it by bringing yourself closer to failure. So in general, if you want to maximize your progress during times of shorter workouts, bring yourself closer to failure. I'm not talking about like your, you know, things like bench presses, back squats, the heavy compound lifts, deadlifts. I'm talking about the accessory stuff where there's
like a
much
dumbbell row,
smaller risk
curl,
of injury.
Tricep extension. Yeah, and you might even like make yourself realize that, oh, I could be going heavier. If you're using the same weight and you're just trying this method and you get 25 reps that first set, then your weight has been too light.
Yeah.
Over the, you know.
I think we were going to talk about this too, but just working with heavier weights can shorten your workout.
Yeah, because you have to do less reps.
You're literally just saving seconds by, like, let's say I'm doing dumbbell curls at 30 pounds for my normal work sets, and I'm getting somewhere between 10 and 20 reps on my work sets. Now I go up to the 40s, I'm only getting like 5 to 8 reps. That takes a lot less time than doing 15 to 20 reps.
Right.
So yeah, go heavier.
Yeah. Another thing that I notice a lot with a lot of my clients is I notice them like note their rest times. So this is a great method to both make sure that you are resting enough, which I think is sometimes hard for people to do, and also make sure you're not resting too much.
Yeah.
So you set that 2, 3, 4, whatever minute timer between your working sets. As soon as it beeps, you're on to the next one. This just helps you with like not getting distracted. And speaking of that, like avoid like scrolling stuff. A lot of, sometimes it's like, don't bring your phone in the gym, but most of us use our phone to record, you know, things, to like log our workouts, to see our workouts. So that's usually not an option, but just, avoid that scrolling mentality between working sets, because man, you can lose 6-7 minutes and you didn't even know it.
Especially don't open things on your phone that are like kind of your triggers to suck you in. Like if you're working out during your break at work, like don't open your work email and get sucked into a conversation or see something that's going to stress you out and take your mind off what you're doing. That's going to slow you down whether you realize it or not, and probably affect your performance.
The new iPhone operating system is just great for like, you can set so many like, okay, during this time, like during podcast recording, I only want to see if my mom calls, because that means it's an emergency, or something like that. And hide all other notifications, or like when I'm sleeping, or you can even set up when I'm working out, only show me these notifications. So you can, and they're really easy to set up, and those things, I use those a lot.
In case our clients listening to this didn't know, within the True Coach app, up in the top right corner when you're in your workout, there's a timer button where you can use a repeating timer to time your rest, or there's a stopwatch feature if you just want to use a stopwatch to time yourself for something.
Right.
And then even, I'm sure Androids have this too, but like the timer app in your iPhone, you can set a timer, and then when it expires, you can just hit one button and it starts it over again. So that's something you can use to kind of keep yourself in a repeating pattern of 1-2 minute cycles, whatever it is.
Okay, so when we were talking about this
Quit tapping
podcast,
on that desk. I hear it in the microphone.
We kind of debated on this topic, so
we'll
let you guys maybe decide for yourselves,
or
see who's right here. Okay, so he said you shouldn't clip up your videos that you're taking. Like, so when you're working with a coach, we like for you to take a video of what you're doing.
Sometimes,
so that
not all the time.
So we can see what you're doing. And so this might mean like recording a set of your strict press, and recording a set of your reverse flies, and recording a set of your chin-ups. And during one of your rest periods, I would personally want to clip out the ends, unless you're using the fancy Apple Watch where you can just like, it's like automatic, but clip out the ends so I know what that video is. Because if I record myself doing 6 things in the gym and then I don't do anything with them, and I go back to my phone while I'm eating lunch or something, I will probably never look at those videos, because it's just like a blank gym and I don't know what they are, and I'm not going to just like go back and watch all these videos. So I would like quickly clip it up myself so that you just kind of like save time after. So it's a more useful video.
Yeah.
Jonathan
for
said,
me, I don't like this idea for me. Like, and maybe I'm biased because our internet is so slow here that it takes a long time for me to upload my videos. You
don't
to
have
my
to upload
coach.
them right then, but just like clip them and get them ready is what I would say.
Yeah.
Uploading would be a whole nother thing, and you'd have to it would take too much time.
Yeah. My vote is, I think most of my clients do it the way that you're talking about, and that's fine. But we're talking about when you're specifically short on time here. And for me, I would save it for another time. Like, it goes back to priorities. Your priority is to get the work done in the gym. If there's something that you're really unsure about, prioritize trimming and uploading that video. If it's a movement that I've seen you do 100 times and I'm just judging the intensity.
Air squat,
right. Then, skip it, save it for some time when you're
that's true.
spinning the Charmin. And if you get to it, you get to it.
That is true. Like if you are working with a coach and you are in the habit of sending videos, if you are stressed for time, your coach would totally understand if you're like, hey, I just wanted to prioritize and get this workout done. I didn't want to do the videos today.
Can you imagine if a client was like, I didn't do my workout today because I wasn't going to have time to do the videos?
No,
like,
no, do the workout.
You missed the point.
Don't worry about the videos. Yeah.
That's never happened, but.
All right. Okay, that was a lot of tips for during the workout.
Are you going to type all these up and put them in the show notes for this episode? All right, good.
Okay, this is like after or like between your workout sessions. Make sure that you leave a clean gym space. So, because there's nothing worse than like being strapped for time coming into your gym space and it is full of loaded barbells and chalk everywhere and everything is disorganized.
Yeah.
So making sure that your gym space is clean and ready whenever that is, whenever you can do it, is very helpful on time. And or making it organized, making sure that you don't have to be like searching for things. Everything's in the same space. Like, where everything is laid out. All that will really help on time.
You used to be really, really bad about this. What, you've gotten better, I feel like. I mean, you're
when
not
you
great.
and Austin used to work out together after me, I would always leave a dirty gym. I was like coaching in the morning. He was in bed. I was in the gym coaching. Coming home, I was working my job for Rice University. Then I was getting my workout in.
Hold on, let me get my violin.
And then I was going back to the gym to coach all the evening classes. And he was like, "You left your weight on the bar." I was like, I had no time to clean up that bar. I was like, get my, whatever done and get out the door. Barely had time to eat lunch and take our senior dog with us because she was in a bad way.
Can I have the floor now
No.
and my rebuttal to this argument? I was also working out at 6 o'clock in the morning in that garage with Austin. That's how I knew that your weights were still left out from the day before. So I was not in bed. I was in the gym.
You had been in bed, and then I was already done with the class.
I would work all day slaving away to put food on the table.
Please.
And then I would come to your gym for the 4 or 5 o'clock class, work out
was
again.
Like 3 months of your
help
life.
with what? Clean the bathroom.
I'm talking about a decade.
Brush your hair.
Yeah.
Give you a massage.
Right, whatever.
Make you a cocktail for the ride home.
Yeah.
What is this podcast about?
I don't know. All right. Clean up the gym.
It's so true, though.
Nothing needs to be said about that.
Or if you have like a kid, pay them $5 a day to go out and clean up the gym after you're done if you don't have time to clean it up.
I have started, it's, inclement weather out. Not really, I'm sure, for most people, but
it got cold.
It's starting to get chilly. We got in the 30s. And plus, when it's winter, it rains more and everything. So I brought it, or had him bring a squat rack into our office space. It's right over there. And man, I'm
right
loving
off
it.
Camera here.
Man, I'm loving it. It's so clean in here. So clean in the office. We're blessed with having this big enough space in here. We're gonna have our computer desks, our little podcast studio, and
sleeping dogs,
and a squat rack. And man, I'm loving it. And because we work out in a RV storage, and it's dirty. It's just dirty, and like it's just starting to get to me. It's just like constantly dirty. I try to clean it. We blow it out, the dust. I mean, it's open on one side. It's dirty. It's full of like tumbleweeds, and literally tumbleweeds blow in there all the time. So
I have noticed since you've been working out in the office, the gym's staying a lot cleaner though.
No, it's not. It's filthy in there. You don't want to like get down on the floor to do a push-up. You're like, oh my gosh, so much pollen and who knows what.
Raccoon.
Yeah, raccoons mess with my chalk in there.
Yeah,
they like mess with the chalk and then they make footprints everywhere. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so one way to shorten your workouts is to get all the raccoons out of your gym ahead of time.
Okay. All right. I had some bonus tips for just like getting through your workout. We talked about this back episode 3 of our podcast or something. I don't know what episode it was, but way early. So I just have come to mind and I just wanted to go through it a little bit. This is like when you're doing your conditioning workout, your Metcons, like for time, like 3, 2, 1, go. Do this for 12 minutes as fast as you can. Bring the intensity.
This ain't your bodybuilding stuff.
This is the CrossFit stuff that I'm talking about. All right. So I love to do these like counting tricks where if I'm counting to 20, I will change that up a lot.
If you're doing 20 reps.
If I'm doing 20 reps, not always 20, but this is just an example. I just sit around counting all day. Shut up. So I will maybe the first round I'll count to 20. Whew, I'm like, that I almost didn't get through it. That was tough. And the next round I might go 1 and 2 and 3 and I only have to count to 10. And the next time I might just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count to 5 4 times. And every time I do this, it helps me make it to 20. It helps me not come in with this defeated mindset to the weight, whatever it is. Say it's a thruster. Mm-hmm. The worst thing you could do for 20 reps. I mean, I will get through those 20 reps. The first round, I just counted to 20. I barely made it. In the second round, I counted 10 by going 1 and 2 and, whew, I made it. But I'm not going to make it again. The next time I counted to 5 4 times.
So you like to mix and match?
I like to mix and match, and I like to like trick myself, especially with odd numbers. Like if I'm going to rest anywhere, if it's a set of 21, if I'm going to rest, I'm going to do 11, rest, 10. Because I did 11 reps, I can do 10 reps. I always like go for like a big set first, and then break there, so that I never have to do the same number or bigger. I always have to do less reps.
All right. So
those are just like
mind games.
Mindset tricks like that. Yeah. So work on your counting. Like I just did that crazy workout Chad on Veterans Day where it's 1,000 step ups. And that to me, I mean, I do this workout every year because it is something that sticks with me year round. Because it is so, like, you can just keep stepping on a box. Like, you can do it. Anybody can do it. You can scale it to your level. You're supposed to wear like a weighted vest. Like, you can do whatever you need to do. You can just step up on a step in your house. I mean, anybody could do this to whatever level you're at, but it's your mindset that gets you on this one. 1,000 is a lot of counting, and staying in that game, it took an hour and, a little over an hour or whatever to do. And man, I used all these counting tricks. The first time I counted to 100, then I counted to 50, 1 and 2 and, then I did 5 rounds of 20, and then I counted 4 rounds of 25. I just like kept changing it, and it just kept me going through it.
And she has not stopped complaining about how sore her calves are since then.
Calves are pretty sore, but I'm making it.
Yeah, those are good tricks.
Yeah. Another trick is to do your warm-ups. Like I write little flow check warm-ups and stuff for the conditioning work. And it's important to do those because if you just like put out your equipment, you never test it 3, 2, 1, go, it's not going to go well. You're going to feel defeated in those first few reps. And I mean, sometimes I know at the gym I used to go through this, like, why are we doing half the workout before we start? Because you're getting yourself ready. You're getting your muscles ready to do it. You're getting your mind ready to do it. You're getting your heart rate up, and like you're going to feel more confident going into that workout than if you just like put the weight on the bar, you've never touched it, 3, 2, 1, go, and you're like, oh gosh, this is too heavy, and I have to make adjustments. Or you just like, it makes you feel defeated, I think, if you just start without practice. Mm-hmm. I always feel so much better like in round 2 than I do in round 1. And if your round 1 is a warm up, just think how good you're going to feel in round 1 of the actual workout.
You go out guns blazing.
Yeah. And this is just all this mindset stuff. And the last piece I'm going to give you is just like commit to finishing. Like a lot of times these workouts don't feel great. Like, it depends on what your strengths are. Like there's some workouts that you're going through and you feel amazing. And there's some workouts that just feel nasty. And you're just like, I'm not going to do it. It's 5 rounds. I'm just doing 3. Don't do that. Like commit to finishing the workout. You can do it. And 100 times out of 100, you will feel worse about yourself if you stop that workout at 3 rounds just because you feel like you want to, than if you finished and you grunted through those 5 rounds, even if it wasn't fast, even if it wasn't pretty, and you made it through, you will feel so good about yourself and into that next day.
I would say you're going to get better at whatever you do. So if you practice quitting workouts when they get hard, you're going to get really good at that, and you're going to find yourself quitting more often than not. If you push yourself and you do something hard, you're going to get better at that, and it'll be less of a challenge to not quit as you go forward.
We'll send it there.
Why don't you tell everybody how they can work with us? We're coming up on a busy time of year. January of last year was our busiest month ever, and I'm expecting the same this year. The main ways we help people is through nutrition coaching. We didn't talk anything about nutrition today, but there's so much junk out there when it comes to nutrition. Everybody's looking for
That's
the next.
That's not the main way we help each other.
We're going to get to both, but this is one of the main ways.
The 2 main ways we help people is by coaching them through nutrition and training.
That's right.
Okay.
And the bottom line with both is like we take away all the junk that people waste time on, all the fads, all the things with names, and we give them a sustainable thing that they can follow and make part of their life. I think about like Jason just finished that race, like where he was when he started, and it was his idea to go do this race. He's like a different person because of the training and the emphasis that he's put on proper nutrition. And like that is the thing that we want for our people, is to set them up for long-term success. So if you have been spinning your wheels with stuff that isn't working, if you did something for a long time and you got burnt out and now you're not doing anything because you don't want to get burnt out again. If you have tried all the diets, you've downloaded all the apps, all that kind of stuff, apply for coaching with us. Let's get on the phone and talk about your specific case. If we're good, if we're a fit, we'll work together. If we're not a good fit, we'll direct you in the right direction and we'll part as friends. But I'll put a link for how you can do that and start the conversation with us in the show notes, along with all of these amazing tips.
All right, I'll put it together for you.
You got the notes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hey, do that thing that all the fancy kids are doing out there where you take a screenshot of whatever app you're listening to this in, post it to your Instagram story and tag us in it.
That's fancy.
So we can repost it, and just so that we can spread the love and reach more people. So we appreciate it.
Love it.
All right, you guys have a good rest of your day. Catch you next time.